Oh, it's springtime, and that means it's racing season. In this video, I want to talk about one of my favorite racing strategies, but be warned, it's aggressive. It usually doesn't even work, but when it does, it can promise you a breakthrough. Okay, so before we talk about this race strategy, let me tell you a little story about maybe the best year during my entire running career. And this is a year where I ran personal bests in the 800 meters, 1500, the mile, 3,000 meters, 5,000 meters, 3K steeplechase, 8K cross country. I did that all in a 12-month period. And a big reason why was because I got serious about this particular racing strategy. And even though it doesn't work all the time, in fact, usually doesn't work, a majority of the time, it does result in a potential breakthrough if it does. And this race strategy is really all about aggression. It's about believing in your fitness level, believing in the work that you've been doing, and getting yourself to a position where you can capitalize on both your fitness level and your belief. Now, this is a racing strategy that works best when you're already seeing success. If you're having a bit of a crummy season, you're not racing really well, this is probably not the strategy to take. But if you are feeling really good, if you think that you're in better shape than all your other personal bests indicate, if you just think you're ready to do something special, this is the race strategy for you. So here it is. This is a race strategy I like to affectionately call let Jesus take the wheel. We are going to go out fast and then hang on for dear life. Now, let me clarify that this doesn't work for every race distance. In fact, this is a race strategy that works best for the 5,000 meters and below. So if you're racing these middle distances, it's a really phenomenal race strategy. But if you're training for a half marathon or a marathon where even splits are probably the best option for you, let's not do this. This is probably going to result in a pretty big, epic slowdown at the end of that race. Look at this. This is beautiful Boulder, Colorado. And I want to run with you here in Boulder at Boulderthon this fall on September 28th. Thank you, Boulderthon, for supporting the channel. You can go to boulderthon.org and use code STRENGTH20 to save $20 on the half marathon or the marathon. Come out here and run a Boulderthon race. They've got a 5K, 10K, half marathon, and marathon. The marathon is a USA Track and Field sanctioned event. It is BQ eligible, and you're going to be able to run in the shadows of the foothills on the historic streets of Boulder with an epic finish on Pearl Street. I think you're going to love it. So go to boulderthon.org, use code STRENGTH20 to save yourself $20 on the half or the marathon, and let's enjoy all that running has to offer. Now, I want to be clear. If you're trying to run a certain pace, this doesn't give you new permission to run substantially faster than what you think is an appropriate race pace. So let's say you're trying to run a 5K at 7-minute pace. Let's not run the first mile in 6:30. That, I think, is a little bit too aggressive. But in a 5K, you might start the first mile 10 to 15 seconds faster than what you think is an appropriate pace for you. If you're running a mile, you might run the first 400 meters, maybe 5 seconds faster than what you think you should be. Maybe you run the first 800 meters of a 2-mile about 15 to 20 seconds faster, or maybe 10 to 15 seconds faster than what you think you can run for that section of the race. So we're not going out a lot faster, substantially faster than we normally do, but we're giving ourselves the opportunity to set a monster personal best. Sometimes it works, most of the time it doesn't. So if you like to race very conservatively, if you don't like to take risks, this option probably isn't for you. But if you're someone who wants to bet on yourself, wants to see what your potential might be when you're feeling really good, when you think your PR might be ready for a full-on frontal assault, now is the time. And let's use this strategy, the let Jesus take the wheel, and really use it to our advantage. Now, this strategy also works really well when you don't really know what your fitness level is like. You know, maybe you're just coming back to racing after a long period of time off. Maybe you're just getting back into things after a special mileage block that we talked about in the last video. Maybe you're just getting back into things because, you just haven't raced in a long time and you've been spending a lot of time doing base training or some other kind of fitness pursuit. If you don't know where you are, well, let's take a chance and put yourself in the best possible position. And the great thing about this strategy is that even when it fails, it succeeds. Because when it fails, you don't get the race time that you want, right? But you do get something else. You get information, you get data, you get to see where you fell apart in the race, and you can iterate on that during your next race. So maybe you ran you're supposed to, trying to run a 5K at that 7-minute mile pace. You went out at 6:45. You managed to hang on until the 2-mile mark, but then you blew up. Well, a couple weeks later, you might want to try that again, except this time go out in 6:50. Two things are going to happen. Number one, the experience of running 6:45 for the opening mile might have been a big stimulus that helps you boost your fitness up a little bit more, so you actually get into better shape. And the 6:50 might then be a lot more reasonable. So you might still learn so much about your abilities and your limitations that the next time you go and race a 5K, you're just much more likely to have that big personal best because you've already failed, you know where and how you've failed, and then you can address that in the next race. So if you're ready to be aggressive, if you're ready to see what you're made out of, to take a chance, to take a risk, to bet on yourself, this is a really good race strategy in those shorter middle distance races to get you to that next level. Sometimes it's not going to work. Most of the time it's not going to work, but you are going to learn a lot about yourself. And when you do have that breakthrough, you're going to have a lot of appreciation for this strategy because after all, you wouldn't have had the breakthrough if you didn't use it in the first place. So best of luck out there racing. I hope you start registering for more races now that it's springtime. Oh, I'm just walking around outside today and it's beautiful. And I hope that you're able to get outside and enjoy your running this spring.